found within the energy of the gene keys, after a good, hard, long, genuine sob for a while, she took out she went to her computer and wrote this person who's still in body a very carefully loving 5-page letter. And then when he received the letter, he called. I believe that's how the story goes. It's close enough. And one called the other. Here's my little glitch. But I think he called her. They had a wonderful cry together. And for Father's Day, she's going to go see him. The healing is 100% complete. I don't care what else happens on Father's Day. That's the power of unconditional love. She had every single right and reason intellectually to write this guy off. And I'm sure many of you, I've stood in those shoes where you've been so wounded that, don't tell me I've got to forgive that person. It's not happening. Well, that's all well and good, except I'm going to fast forward you to a conversation I had yesterday with a person. This person perceives that she has been very, very wounded by a male colleague. He was inappropriate sexually. He did not rape her. He did not molest her. He was simply drastically inappropriate. I mean, it's nothing that I would particularly want to have myself go through, or a granddaughter or anything, but quite frankly, I've had worse. So you look at the degrees of stuff, and yesterday that fellow sent her an email asking for something, and she ran the email past me. It was innocuous. He just wanted a favor from her. Holy smokes, she went ballistic with the fact that she doesn't wish him well. She's just never going to have anything to do with this person. I've been there too. I've stood in that. But eventually, you've got to drop it. You're going to have to soften. And why would I say that? Because I've studied now the I Ching for a gazillion years, and they keep counseling every other hexagram the value of softness and the drip of water that wears away the mountain. And so it's soft, it's gentle, it's let it go, right? It's the whole message of how we move forward in life. Now, what people don't understand, because of the work that I have done, oftentimes I have a tremendously large glimpse, a big window into the thought pattern, if they're not careful, is going to make them very sick. It's just one of the gifts I have earned. So I'm very careful of that gift, and I'm extraordinarily respectful of it and watchful. Well, this gal went on and on to the point where she energetically picked up a machine gun at me. I could feel it. My whole body kind of collapsed back into itself. And I just listened, and I kind of wound up with, you are where you are where you need to be, and you carry on just as you are. There's no conflict here. There's no countering it. You simply let it go. She didn't let it go. I was the next candidate for the machine gun after this poor guy who, yes, he was wrong. I grant you that. People do the dangdest things. And they're not proud of it. Nobody's proud of their crummy behavior. But where she went with me was, and she's quite a bit younger than I, where she went was, well, all of my girlfriends would have told me absolutely differently than what you're telling me. And I very calmly said, you bet they would. Less than 1% of the people you'll ever meet will tell you what I'm going to tell you. To simply drop it. Simply allow what's happened to heal itself. Don't react to what this fellow wrote to you. It was not hostile. It was just a request. Soften it and get more into a response mode rather than a react mode. Holy smokes, she hung up in such a twitter because there's no way she's going to forgive this man. Not now, and probably not for a long time. Because she has one of the interesting diseases that I speak to many of you about, the fascinating let-go disease. When you can't let go of this stuff, somebody's going to get hurt, and it's going to be you. And then you won't understand why you're sick. And you're going to blame it on the food you eat, the water you drink, the air you're breathing. That's not helping, I guarantee that. But it's what's inside that's what's picturing outside. You are sick from the inside out, not from the outside in. And we got to all figure that out pronto. So it was very sombering. So I hung up and I thought, interesting. Now, how do I take care of myself? Because when you are repeatedly punched, which was what the sensation was, because she was just so angry, because I told her something she didn't want to hear. Which, of course, then you hit it right. You got the nail right on the head, and it's exactly what she needed to hear. However, here's what I did, and I share this with you because I think some of you could use this. I immediately saw all around my feet, in a big puddle, a lovely purpley, pinkish, golden, like a big cloth, if you will. At least that's what it looked like at my feet. And almost like a magician, I saw this cloth come up, wrap itself over my head as a hood, and completely encircle my whole body. And I simply stood in that glorious thing for maybe 5 minutes. And even today, a couple of times I thought, no, this is all wrapped around me. So that it becomes truthful what the 91st Psalm says. No harm comes near my tent. You see, those of us who are even a tad empathic or even sympathetic, it's too easy to pick up the other guy's junk. Even though consciously I'm giving it right back to her during the conversation, and perhaps as I continue to evolve, I won't need any magical cape around me. But I'm one that says, if the tool works for you today, use it. If it doesn't work, don't use it. Not every tool is for everybody every day. But it was just such a happy tool. My goodness, I was great. I was like so relieved to see this puddle of colorful, lovely, loving energy to put it around me. And this occurred actually later in the evening, which often in the old days would have meant I would have taken it to sleep with me. I slept like just a darling little baby. So these tools are wonderful. If you have any questions about this tool or about these two cases, now is the time to pick up the phone, 321-806-3159. Some of you may also be sort of trapped in either an inability to forgive or you picked up too much of the stuff. And so you have to be careful, okay? Either way. Unforgiveness is going to make you sick. I'm sorry. 2 and 2 is 4. And we all, if you've reached the age of probably 2, we all have reasons, logical, kind of sound reasons why I'm not going to forgive that son of a bitch kind of thing. Okay, drop it. Just drop it. Reason being, I mean, look, you have free will. I just love you enough, even if I've never met you. I want you to stay well while you're in this body. When you're ready to leave your body, you put it down nicely, but not through some tragic, horrendous illness, which is what now seems to be the way of the planet. So, So hi there. There's somebody on the line. Hi.
Hi. Hi, it's Sydney from New Jersey.
Hello, Sydney. Who do you have to put down?
Who do I have to put down?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, my career. Yeah, I need to walk away from a lot of things and just keep creating new.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, today's the day to do it. It really, really is.
Yeah, that's exciting. How do I determine my own galactic birthday?
Okay. It's a formula, Sydney. It actually is a formula. that it's not like, oh, remember in the old days I could give the formula for how to determine which gua you were energetically, mathematically. Yeah. This is a little more tricky because the chart doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So for those of you who would like to know what your galactic signature is, you're going to have to just drop me an email, and I'll shoot it back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm was really drawn to listen today, and I'm like, well, I could listen to it later, and it's like, no, go listen to it live. So there's something very important about this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there because of my own evolution. I'm so becoming so much more clear and embraceable. Not that people can embrace me. I can embrace the other guy. I'm sure that actually it's a two-way street. But I feel it's easy for me to embrace all that is very, very healthy in this material. And so it's easy now for me to flip to, let me look in that I Ching book. No, let me go over to the galactic information. No, wait a second. There's a message over here. And like stir them into a rainbow pot that some which way makes sense. Now, how I have gotten to that point of clarity, and this is important for you, Sydney, and every other person who's listening. You only can get to that clarity by practicing the presence. There's no other way.
Yeah.
And it's a determined sense of actualization and realization that there's only one. And the more I practice it, it's becoming, and I take that back. I'm being it with greater and greater clarity. And the more you're being it, the answers are right there. So as much as I say, well, I went to the I Ching for this and the galactic information for that, it has a way of synthesizing into a higher expression. So I encourage anyone who's brave to at least Google some information from Sailor Bob, who has written, well, he didn't write it, but James Braha did, Living Reality. It's not for the beginner, and yet it's completely for the beginner. You wouldn't need any other thing. So there's a lot of the planet so wants to heal now. And of course, we're bumping into every obstacle, but it's here for you.
Yeah, and it's so important. And something's happening where I'm finding within my personal effects that my files and my photographs and things, someone has been in them and squashes them all about and has mixed them up. And so it's making this process, it's drawing me back, because you get like, ugh. So now I have to fix this, and can I be mad at that person, and doesn't matter, and am I sure who it is anyway? And, so it's a very strange time for me to have to move through all that.
Well, the more you don't take delivery of emotions, that's what's making people sick. They're taking delivery of emotions. The more it's like write it on your forehead, no taking delivery of emotions. And you certainly don't take delivery of their stuff. You see, that's the example of this gal last night. She took delivery of stuff, all right, and it just choked her.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't. Now I cannot tell you, it didn't feel like she had put a hot electric wire into me. It got that, but I didn't do anything with it. I pulled it out as quickly as possible, almost instantly.
Yes. Yeah.
So the more aware you are of who you are, things naturally have to drop away.